Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chesswise. Today we are at the next topic, that is the indicators of attack, and we are going to go further with our topic. Again we will try to guess the indicator of attack, which indicator works. As we have discussed most of the indicators by now, let's get into the position quickly. A look at the position and we see that white is definitely way better than black. All black pieces are passive and white is looking to convert his almost winning position into a win. Okay, so last time we saw one most important technique, that removing the guard or the defenders. So by removing, as I said, we mean deflection and destroying both. Okay, so here again we have got slightly difficult. Last time both the examples were very easy. Even this one is not very difficult, but this is not easy by any means. White sees that the knight on f6 is a major defender here, because if this knight is not there, we can see rook f8, qg7 mate coming up. Queen is eyeing the g6 square, which is weak, and in many lines we will see the bishop on b3, either on a2 g8 or on c2 h7 diagonals. So let's get into the position quickly. It's a famous game actually, Spassky white and Petrosian black. So heavyweights are clashing here, both are world champions. So e5, very obvious move, because knight is the defender. e5 not just attacks the knight, we know d will be taken, but he is getting the knight to e4. So another indicator, the pawn move e5 has vacated the square e4, so that will act like a good space for the knight. So d takes e5 is almost forced, and knight e4 as white had planned. Let's get into the variations quickly. They are not very complex. If knight takes e4, as I mentioned, then there comes rook takes f8, and qg7 mates. After e takes d4, white uses knight takes f6, queen cannot take because of the rook, g takes f6 leads to qg8 mate, thus g5 forced, and now we see the weakness of h6. So knight e8 could also be played. White plays queen h3. See how he is using the pin along the h file. Now the threat is rook g5, when rook g8 would soon mate. Black has no particular defense. He goes rook e7, rook takes g5, and now again nothing is there, because rook g7 loses to queen h6, bg7 forced, and now again white has a small combination here. Rook takes g7, if rook takes then qh6, rook h7, qh7 mates, thus king g7 forced, and here white mates black by force after rook g1. This line is somewhat tricky. Now there are some variations again. King f8 is met by qh6, king f7 is similar to queen h5, kf6, queen f3 check, as it would happen after direct king f6 also. Queen f3 check, k e5. Things look bit tricky over here. Now comes qg3 check, forcing k e4, and this is where things become really tricky. In a forced series of moves, again we see the waiting move rook f1. Very strong and effective. Now queen e1 is forced mate. After d3, queen f4 checkmates. And after rook f7, we see queen e1 checkmate. So this is how white would have won had black played e takes d4. So now black plays the only move, knight h5, guards the g7 square further, and now the knight on d4 is still attacked. White goes qg6, his position is now totally winning. There are some threats. Let's see, after nf4 here, white has the tactical rook takes f4. Now the threat is rook f8, so e takes f4, and here again white has the very strong c3. Another waiting move in a out and out attacking position. The threat is very simple. Bishop would move to c2 and knight g5, knight f6 followed by queen h7 mate. Although there is some time to deliver that, but black's pieces are placed in such a way that he doesn't have queen f6, the rook cannot join in time, bishop cannot attack the queen in that much time. So white is winning over here. Black takes, he takes d4 and now knight g5. This was the idea. Now the threat is mate, queen h7 mate, h takes g5 is an option, but after that we see queen h5 check, king g8, queen f7 check, king h8, rook f3. Threat is rook h3 mate. If e5, then the bishop on b3 gets opened. So qh5 would be checkmate. Perhaps g4 forced, and now just rook takes g4. Multiple threats are there. Simplest is rook h3 checkmate. There is no defense whatsoever. So after ng5, black decided to resign in the game. It was the World Championship match between Spassky and Petrosyan. So we took a case of the heavyweights, strong players in the world, and we saw how they use the indicators of attack in their play. I hope you are finding these lessons useful and instructive. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.